Ah, tes. Halo, selamat malam, selamat datang di stream Ace Attorney Investigations Collection ke-6. Yay, kita hari ini kemarin tuh abis main bareng, kita main case 4. Jadi, tapi itu belum selesai. Jadi kita hari ini ngelanjutin aja sampai selesainya. Dan ini stream Ace Attorney Week terakhir. Jadi untuk seminggu ini dari Senin sampai Minggu, ya kecuali hari Jumat ya, aku nyoba streaming Ace Attorney Investigation setiap hari. Ini bukan berarti aku nggak akan streaming Ace Attorney Investigations lagi, tapi kemungkinan nggak akan tiap hari lagi. Ini karena lagi pengen main aja. Kemungkinan sampai akhir tahun. Ini stream terakhir sih sebelum akhir tahun. Jadi paling tahun depan kita lanjut. Selamat malam, halo. Ada Nanai, ada Cincau, welcome to the stream. Kita lanjut saja. Recap. Jadi kemarin yang kejadian adalah episode 4. Episode ini adalah sedikit flashback ke Edgeworth masa lalu, 7 tahun yang lalu, sebelum case-case sebelumnya. Itu pertama kali dia jadi jaksa, jadi prosecutor, dan actually case pertamanya dia yang harusnya dia handle, tapi karena tidak dihandle jadinya bukan tidak dihandle ya, karena ada kejadian luar biasa, ada pembunuhan, jadi belum sempat actually debut di courtroom ya ceritanya. Astaga. Dor. Tima, thank you for the 2 pofin bersahabat. Thank you. Selamat datang. Welcome to the stream. Selamat malam. Kita hari ini lanjut case 4 kemarin. Kemarin gak sampai selesai. Ya gak apa-apa. Kemarin lumayan 4 jam. Dan itu masih belum selesai case-nya. Jadi kemungkinan besar masih ada minimal at least an hour sih harusnya. Minimal sejam. Gak tahu sih. Kita lihat aja. Kita hari ini ngejar sampai selesai. Sampai selesai case 4 ya, bukan selesai game. Ini game masih ada 1 case lagi soalnya case 5. Tapi kemungkinan besar kita paling baru tahun depan nyelesainnya. Ketinggalan 2 stream, it's okay. Ini kalau ketinggalan yang kemarin agak ini sih ceritanya, agak loncat sih. Tapi sekarang kita di masa lalu. Ini Edgeworth pas pertama kali jadi prosecutor, terus tiba-tiba ada murder case. What is this incredibly overpowering sweet scent? It smells like flowers. Uncle Bad, is this it? Isn't that Detective Bad and Kay over there? It looks like she managed to escape the bailiff. Jadi terakhir si Kay kecil itu kabur, terus dikejar sama petugas ininya. Petugas courtroom. Oh, too bad, but it's so pretty. I think you're still a bit too young to be wearing that. But since you found it, I guess I can let you keep it. Thanks, I'll treasure it always. Thus you seem to get along rather well. Well, here, I got something else. Dikasih apa tuh? Swiss roll. Ya, jadi kemarin Swiss roll ini cukup penting ternyata. Argumen kenapa Gumshoe tiba-tiba bisa menghilang dari hallway, ternyata dia beli Swiss roll, terus dia duduk, terus dia makan. So this Swiss roll is actually relevant evidence ternyata. Swiss roll. Sudah makan malam kalian? Saya baru makan malam. Thank you, Uncle Dad. Earlier, I ate one of these with Gummy. Ya, dia makan sama Gummy. Gummy, oh you mean Gumshoe. Gummy is... He was trying to be nice to me because I was gonna get in trouble, and then he got in trouble because he liked to protect me. Gummy. Ya, dia tidak membunuh ayahnya Kay. Harusnya. I'm not crying. Okay. Oh, it's the mister from before, and the lady too. Don't you think it would be a good idea to go home for the time being? You're not involved in the investigation, so it's for the best if you do. Actually, I'm Uncle Bad's assistant. So I'm related to the investigation. Apa kaya? Is that so, Detective Bad? Yeah, I guess. What? You were just scolding us like kids to not mess up the crime scene. And now you let this child run free? Why? So the joke yesterday, kemarin, kids at the crime scene. Because they're all kids and they're all at the crime scene. Because why not? You also had a few things you wanted to look into. Got a problem with that? I don't have a problem with that, but I am curious as to what Miss Yu is looking into. Hello, Army Kazuki-han. Welcome to the stream. Selamat malam. Uncle Bad, I'm gonna go look somewhere else now, okay? Alright, I'm counting on you. Oh, that's right. Hey, mister. Yes, what is it? First time masuk live. Oh, welcome. Ini lagi main Ace Attorney Investigations, game tentang ada pembunuhan terus kita harus mencari pembunuh sebenarnya. Kalau belum pernah main. I know Gummy really isn't the bad guy. I mean it. So please, find the real bad guy, okay? Ya, kita mencari pembunuh sebenarnya. I won't forgive whoever did this, but in the absence of the perfect piece of testimony and evidence, there is no one else who could be the true culprit, other than Detective Gumshoe. Kita masih kurang barang bukti. Oh, she wandered off while I was wondering. Detective Bad, what exactly was Kay searching for? Nothing that concerns you, boy. Oh, and I suppose it has something to do with Kay? It does, because she's Faraday's daughter. Anyway, hurry up and get to the point. I don't have time to waste. Sibuk sekali, Bapak Detektif. Sounds like he'd rather be left alone. I have something I'd like to confirm with you once again. I don't have anything to say to you. Be that as it may, we still have questions that we need answers to. Now then, first of all, what is the overpowering smell that is permeating this room? Ada semacam aroma di ruangan ini. Upon entering this room, I thought I was going to suffocate. It's that ultra-strong perfume you wear. She spilled some of it. Ada parfum tumpah. I was having a bad time of it myself. I did think twice and opened the window, but that smell's still here. Perfume, huh? So the sweet scent in the air is perfume. Ya bisa lama-lama. Ya nggak apa-apa, thank you, udah mampir. So the sweet scent in the air is perfume. Well, it's giving off quite a stench. I bet it's some cheap, no-name brand. She said it's a famous brand from overseas. Parfum mahal. It's a knockoff, yes, definitely a knockoff. No disrespect, but she forced one of those bottles on me. Here, little girl. You can have it. I was born for a much more expensive and refined perfume. However, seeing as how you just happen to have a spare, I suppose I'll take it. Mas Edgeworth, you will hold onto this bottle without fail. Dikasih botol eh. Asik, dapat botol parfum. Perfume given to Bad by you, same perfume as the one spilled in lobby number 1. So now we have the perfume Miss Yu wears. Just fantastic. Is that all you wanted to ask about? If so, I'm going back to investigating. Actually, I still have a few other things I wish to inquire about. Chick. Okay, so we have a few topics here. So you were in this room the entire recess. Like I said, I made a call to the precinct to get that big lug down here. But other than that, I was waiting for the recess to end in here. At least your story is consistent. Earlier, you stated that you were in this lobby with Miss Yu. Yeah, I ran into her in the hallway. She said she wanted to talk to me about something, so we came in here. Then what you're saying is that until Detective Gumshoe's arrival, you and Miss Yu were in two different locations. Iya kan? Jadi baru masuk ke sini pas apa tadi? Oh, pas ketemu di hallway. Menarik. Speaking of that lawyer, she seems to have a great dislike for you. Oof. Pedih. Let's see. Miss Yu is the sister of the victim in the KG8 incident. And as I recall, Detective Bad was the lead detective on that case. I wonder if the reason for her disdain isn't simply because you failed to guard CC, but because you were the lead detective on the case. Oh. You knew? I also know that today's trial involving the Kadopian embassy staff member is being referred to as the second Kaget incident. Now then, Detective, I believe it's time you were honest with me and told me the truth behind your relationship with Miss Yu and Mr. Faraday and the KG8 incident. If you already know that much, I guess it'd be alright to tell you. Okay, talk about the Kaget incident, please. Alright, I would like to ask a few questions about the Kaget incident. It's not exactly a happy story other than the people who were directly involved. You two will be the first to hear what I'm about to tell. Ooh, we have news. We have information. That's a lollipop. The honest truth behind the KG8 incident. Faraday, you, and I. As you already know, we three were involved with the KG8 incident. Faraday and I. We were originally on the trail of a smuggling ring. We hear the mention of another smuggling ring. You mean the smuggling case involving one of the Amano Group's secretaries? That trial was just a front. A facade. Yeah, but the case became tainted. All because the witness who was going to testify about the Amano Group ties to the smuggling ring, CCU, was killed. Then, what became of the secretary who was arrested? His name was Colin Deveray. We know this guy from the third case, Colin Deveray. To be honest, the guy didn't know a thing about the smuggling ring, but he confessed to knowing about it anyway. Deveray was probably being intimidated by the big boss man, just another scapegoat. The boss man of the Amano Group? He can't seriously mean Mr. Ernest Amano. That can't be right. It's probably just Detective Bad's personal hypothesis. What is he trying to do, suspecting Mr. Amano of being involved with smuggling? I suppose it would have been difficult to secure an acquittal after he confessed. But the man who killed CCU, Manny Cochin, was a completely different person. But since he's already been acquitted once of her murder, Mr. Faraday, how could you have let him go? If I remember correctly, I heard that Mr. Faraday had an important piece of evidence stolen from him. That wasn't Faraday's fault. It was mine. I wasn't vigilant enough. Faraday, CC, I was supposed to protect them both. Miss Yu did mention that as well. Yeah, Detective Bad was supposed to guard CCU, the victim of this KG8 incident. But even I, who was supposed to protect them, I fell into their trap. What kind of a trap? The holes in this jacket are a testament to that trap. Oh my god. You mean you were fired upon? You were shot at that many times in one gunfight? No. Only about half of these are from that case. Boy. But the reason I continue to wear this jacket is to remind myself of the lessons I learned from the KG8 incident. I see. I couldn't protect CCU, and the suspect was found not guilty. We had hit a brick wall as far as the law was concerned. And that's when she came to the courtroom, the victim's sister. That's when I first met Callisto Yu, this lady. Relation to you. About when you first met Miss Yu. It was on the day of the verdict the KG8 incident was handed down, was it not? Yes, Faraday and I, we apologized to her from the bottom of our hearts. It was all we could do, but just saying you're sorry won't bring my sister back, she said. And then she gave me a hard slap across the face. Well, she certainly had a lot of self-control to stop at just a slap. If it was me, not even 100 lashes would have been punishment enough. I suppose not. You said it herself, that she never wanted to see either of us ever again. But after that, you've seen her many times over, correct? Yeah, Faraday and I. Even after the KG8 incident had come to a close, we continued to hunt down the smuggling ring and got involved in a variety of cases. But it was no use, we cracked so many different cases. But the results was always the same. We couldn't find the real mastermind behind the ring. Is the ring really that big? Malam Kak Sky, malam day. Welcome to the stream. Selamat malam. It was in pursuit of the ring that we met you once again. It was during another trial related to the smuggling ring. Faraday was the prosecutor, and I, as the lead detective, took to the witness stand. You. She appeared out of the blue as the defense attorney. Her client was related to the smuggling ring, and she was defending them? Yeah. Yu was pursuing the ring as best as she could as a lawyer. I think she defended Rel this time, for the same reason. Come to think of it, Miss Yu did say something to the same effect. I have my own agenda. I'm still in the hunt for leads regarding the KG8 incident, alright? Bentar lagi tahun baru nih, Kak. Sekarang rencana mau ngapain pas malam tahun baru? Nggak ada rencana sih. Rencana streaming juga nggak ada, paling nonton-nonton orang streaming. Atau tidur. Kayaknya nggak tidur sih. Tapi nggak ada rencana streaming. Jadi kemungkinan nonton-nonton stream orang aja. And for that, you have not a single qualm about defending a known killer. And don't put words in my mouth, I said no such thing. The only way I had to get close to Mr. Rel was to be his lawyer. I had no intention of covering for him, ever. So don't you dare suggest I was going to. Gak ada desa bakar-bakaran. Menarik sih. New Year open house. Open house apa? Halo Aji, welcome to the stream. Selamat malam. You're so naive, little girl. I could have stolen this lollipop from you. That's how naive you are. How dare you insult the daughter of Von Kama? And just like us, you felt that she had hit the limit of what the law could do. That's all. The law is merely a tool. There is no limit to it, only the skill of the craftsman. You two are still too young, but one day you'll know what I mean. But enough sidetracking. What matters is that we met you again in pursuit of the smuggling ring. That's all. Jadi Bad You sama Faraday itu lumayan terikat di cerita ini ya. Coba main game horror Sky, nggak mau. Game horror ya? Bisa sih. Tapi nggak mau. So what was your relation to Mr. Faraday? You even seem to know Kay fairly well. I met him when he was a rookie prosecutor. Known him ever since. And Kay, I've known her since the day she was born. Wow. Faraday and I, we cracked quite a few cases together. But you two seem to have made no progress at all in the Yatagarasu case. Did we touch a nerve? I only have one thing to say to you. No one knew more about the Yatagarasu than me and Faraday. That's why I was called upon to testify in today's trial. Muntabat, ya maaf nih. Saya tidak suka game horror. Bukan gak suka sih. Lebih ke apa ya? Gak pengen main aja. Halo Yura, welcome to the stream. Selamat malam. Aku tuh nggak suka sama jump scare. Kalau tipe-tipe horor yang kayak ambience atau yang creepy gitu boleh sih. Tapi kalau macam-macam game kayak Five Nights gitu atau yang banyak jump scare aku nggak kuat. To prove that Rel was not the real Yatagarasu, which I would have done if he hadn't turned around and accused Faraday. After the accusation, I was asked to testify, but this time to prove or disprove the accusation. But I guess I won't be doing that either. I sense that there's more to that statement than meets the eye. Perhaps a bit more digging into the Yatagarasu is what's necessary. Kita ngomongin Yatagarasu. Iya, takut jantungan. Coba lah, iya kapan-kapan boleh lah. Tapi nggak akan ini sih. Nggak tahu. Bisa diatur, tapi not anytime soon. You claim to know much about the Yatagarasu. Would you care to share what you know with me? What you two should be looking for right now is proof of murderous intent towards Faraday and Rel. I agree, which is exactly why I'm asking you about the Yatagarasu. What? the KG8 incident and the second KG8 incident. Both of the cases are tied to the smuggling ring. And in both of these cases, the witness who was to testify about the ring was murdered. However, there is one point in which they differ, and that is the presence or absence of the great thief Yatagarasu. Mr. Rel claimed to be the Yatagarasu. However, in the middle of the trial, he suddenly declared Mr. Faraday to be the real Yatagarasu. Then during the recess, they were both killed. Don't you find? Call me Cypher. Oh. Kayak aku pernah dengar itu. I'll check later. Jangan dong. Banyak jump scare. Miles Edgeworth, stop beating around the bush and just spit it out already. I believe there must be some reason that the two men suspected of being the Yatagarasu were both killed at the same time. A reason, huh? And so, in order to catch Mr. Faraday and Mr. Rel's cold-blooded killer, I feel that I need to learn as much as I can about the Yatagarasu. If it will help you solve this case. Then I'll tell you. I'll tell you the reason why we've never caught the Yatagarasu. Oh, kalau Chilla's Art boleh sih. Aku lumayan suka game-game Chilla's Art. What was that sudden outburst for? You almost made me whip you by accident. It still accidentally whipped me anyway. There are three main reasons why the Yatagarasu will always be one step ahead. First, the Yatagarasu always knows the exact location of the target object. Second, the Yatagarasu always knows exactly how to disarm the security system. Third, the Yatagarasu doesn't leave a single shred of evidence behind, ever. I see. So those are the Yatagarasu's special traits. Sounds like an incredibly elusive thief. The Yatagarasu has never been caught on tape, never tries to draw anyone's attention, and would never do something as lowbrow as commit murder. That's how I knew that Rel wasn't the real Yatagarasu right away. But you can't use that sort of logic on its own to prove that he wasn't. Listen, little girl, I'm not done talking yet. What's different about this time was that evidence related to smuggling ring was sent to the police. And the sender was none other than the one who infiltrated the Kadopian embassy, the Yatagarasu. The Yatagarasu sent the evidence? Until now, the Yatagarasu would always publicize any corrupt dealings through the mass media. But not this time. The evidence this time was something only Faraday and I, and a select few others knew about. Jadi Yatagarasu-nya nggak langsung nge-public evidence-nya, artinya ya langsung dikirimin ke polisi. In that case, how can you be so sure it was the Yatagarasu who sent it? That's easy. A special card that only the Yatagarasu uses was attached. That's how I can be so sure. And just what sort of card is it? Here, take a look at this article. Calling card Yatagarasu. FPS suka-suka aja tapi aku cupu. Whenever the Yatagarasu wants to publicize something, a white card is sent along with the stolen information. But when we questioned Rel about what was sent along with the white card, Rel had no idea what it was. Ah, and that's how Detective Bed knew that Mr. Rel was a phony. Thank you very much. I have a much better understanding of the Yatagarasu now. Excuse me, Mr. Edgeworth. Yes? His Honor would like to transfer the evidence from today, so if you could please head over to the courtroom, it'd be much appreciated, sir. Understood. I'll be there shortly. Detective Bad, what does the law mean to you? Finding the answer to that question is the only reason I'm still alive. I became a prosecutor to find the answer to that question myself, and to play a part in ensuring that all criminals everywhere are found guilty. Oh, it's you, Mr. Edgeworth. It appears that his honor is still a bit dispirited. For the first time today, I experienced what it's like to stand at the witness stand. I now have a greater appreciation for just how hard it is to give testimony. Kemarin si Josh nge-testimony, ternyata banyak lubangnya. Well, there is no reason for you to be all depressed about it, Your Honor. As a judge, no one expects you to think about anything other than the verdict. Francisca, there is no need to further depress his honor. But I'm not trying to, Miles. Your Honor. Your Honor, I've come to collect the evidence that was to be transferred to me. Your Honor, the evidence? Your Honor! Oh. You. Yes, can I help you? I'd like to collect the evidence now, sir. Your Honor, do you think you can stay focused long enough to at least do your job? Yes, I'm sorry. And I would, except that the defense attorney has yet to arrive. She is busy with the investigation, so let's keep this brief, shall we? Very well. In that case, please confirm that all the pieces of evidence are present. Furthermore, the evidence that was used in the murders of Mr. Faraday and Mr. Rell are also included, so please go ahead and use them in your investigation into their case. Halo Sky, biasanya main game FPS apa? Ngikut aja sih. Udah lama gak main FPS sebenarnya. Terakhir tuh kayak Overwatch atau apa gitu. Follow aja aku gak main. Sama Counter Strike. Udah lama. Terus paling kalau diajak main dong. Welcome to the stream, Luteria. Selamat malam. Please go ahead and use them in your investigation into their case. Understood, Your Honor. The pieces of evidence that were used in the murder of those two men, this could be a very good chance for me to find new leads regarding their case. And maybe even something that will finally lead me to the truth. Okay, evidence di bench. So this is the evidence. Let's look at the evidence bag. Finally, we can take a look at the evidence itself. Agreed, I want to take a good look at all of the evidence from the embassy murder too. And why is that? Because I still don't fully understand what today's trial was about. Don't point your crop at me just because you don't know something. And don't you try to order me around just because Papa chose you today. It's also real. We have the knife, the gun, an envelope. Oh, that's right, I really forgot to tell you. They found Mr. Faraday's personal organizer inside the evidence bag of his. Ada personal organizer juga. Notebook. Well, more evidence. It's the knife that was used to kill Mr. Faraday. Who would have thought that such a beautiful piece of art could be used for such a cruel act? Has it never crossed your mind that you used a riding crop for the wrong purpose? The gun was originally used to kill the Cadopian embassy staff member. Uh-huh. The police found Mr. Rel still holding it, which led to his immediate arrest. And then this gun took the original shooter's life. How ironic. Indeed. Okay. Gun organizer. It looks like he wrote his strategy for getting Mr. Rel convicted down here. I have collected the evidence I need to prove Rel was a killer between the handgun and the surveillance tape. I should be able to reuse the one. The sound of his handgun going off was recorded with superb clarity on the surveillance video. I also have evidence that I can use to prove that Rel is not the real Yatagarasu. No matter how he may try to play it, as long as I have the Yatagarasu's key, I can prove he's a phony. If I present it to him in court, it should clear everything up. I believe Mr. Faraday was well prepared. And he had a way to prove that Mr. Rel was the guilty party in the embassy's murder. This organizer is a clue straight from Mr. Faraday. I'll have to take my time and give it a thorough read later. Oh, there's a picture. It appears to be a key. And a rather ornate one at that. Just look at the design on the handle. The craftsmanship is superb. Could this be the Yatagarasu's key Mr. Faraday mentioned in the organizer? The Yatagarasu's key. Detective Bad said something earlier. What's different about this time was that evidence related to the smuggling ring was sent to the police. Yan yung tadi. Biasanya Yatagarasu bakal bikin yang dia culik publik, tapi kali ini langsung dikirim ke polisi. Mr. Faraday must have been trying to keep the secret key safe. As a prosecutor on both Yatagarasu and smuggling cases, that's to be expected. Yep. That's odd. What is it? Mr. Faraday didn't mention anything about a knife in his organizer. That certainly is odd. The weapon that was used to kill the Kadopo and Mr. Safamura was the gun. But if that's the case, then where did the knife that was used to murder Mr. Faraday come from? Isn't it obvious it was brought into the courthouse by Mr. Rel? That's the only logical conclusion, right? No, because it's not that easy to smuggle a weapon like that in here. Every person who enters is checked thoroughly for contraband. Furthermore, the suspect was handcuffed, making it impossible for him to bring a knife as large as this inside. In that case, how do you suppose this knife ended up inside the courthouse? Nothing related to the knife. It is a fact that this knife came from Mr. Faraday's evidence bag. Conversely, there is one item listed in Mr. Faraday's organizer that no one has claimed to have seen today. Mas Edgeworth, can I take the fact that you have yet to answer me to mean that you don't have an answer for me? Actually, I do know the answer, Francisco. What? Then what is it? One of the pieces of evidence we've been holding has been hiding a secret. The key.
Take that!
This key. This is how the knife was brought into the courthouse. You're not making any sense, Miles Edgeworth. You just need to look, see what I mean. Don't the color and the ornament of the key's handle remind you of anything? They do remind me of the knife. Very good. Both the Yatagrasa's key in this photo and the murderer's knife have this very unique design on their handles. Furthermore, even though Mr. Faraday mentions the Yatagrasa's key, the only object we found at the crime scene was the knife. You don't really mean to say... It appears you finally caught up. And yes, I do mean to say that these two pieces are in fact... But that's impossible! Even if that's what you believe, we should still investigate this possibility. Mari kita lihat knife-nya. I can't believe it turned into a key. To think there was such a trick to this thing. So, the weapon used to kill Mr. Faraday is actually the key the Yatagrasa stole. It turns into a knife. I'm shocked. Only mentioned the key aspect. It's possible that even he had no idea the key was hiding a knife blade inside. But if that's true, then only someone who knew about the key to knife trick could have killed Mr. Faraday. Even among law enforcement, this key was top secret. We're looking for someone who knew even more about the key than even Mr. Faraday. Meaning, the only person it could be is the one who sent the key in the first place, the great thief Yatagarasi. Maybe Mr. Rel really was the Yatagarasi, and he was the one who killed Mr. Faraday. Isn't that one possible scenario? Not really, especially since Mr. Faraday was absolutely convinced Mr. Rel was not the Yatagarasi. Besides, as Detective Bad said earlier, but when we questioned Rel about what was sent along with the right card, he had no idea. Alright. So it's probably someone else. And that person is the real Yatagarasi. Seems that this key is truly the key to solving this case. Hehe. Kunci kasus. Documents. I suppose I explain it to you. Yes, you should perfectly and in its entirety if you please. On the night of the September 8th, embassy staff member was killed in front of the embassy. The staff member died of shock to being shot in the heart. Mackerel was brought in that night as a suspect and thoroughly questioned, because the murder weapon was found on him, for which he was arrested on the spot. A simpleton of a man, that's what he was. Huh. Perhaps he was, for the weapon wasn't the only incriminating evidence we had. Mr. L was caught in the act on film by a security camera. He was an even bigger simpleton than I thought. I believe he didn't notice a security camera. Kadopian's embassy security system is supposedly very well designed. He may simply not have been aware there was a camera in the area. So, have you seen the contents of the video for yourself? That is clearly him. Yeah, the surveillance video the security camera took was played during the trial by Mr. Faraday. You can clearly identify Mr. Elon. Even the sound of the gunshot was crystal clear. So the footage included sound, huh? I don't think I'd ever want to see the moment of someone's death in real life. Me neither. That's odd. We're short one piece of evidence. Videonya nggak ada. Huh. Are you done with your inspection of the evidence? Yes, I'm finished. Your Honor, I am missing a single piece of prosecutorial evidence. Your Honor, were you derelict in your duties? What? No! I dare not lick my duties! What do you mean? What do you take me for? No, Your Honor, the most important piece of evidence in today's trial, the surveillance video, is not amongst the evidence you laid out for me. But I brought Mr. Faraday's whole bag with me from the crime scene. Maybe the tape is still somewhere at the crime scene? something wrong here. Something about this missing piece of evidence. It would appear that for me to find the answer I seek, I would have to pay another visit to the scene of the crime. Yo, Lang. That's bad, but who's he with? I've never seen that officer before. So did you find it? No, not yet, and I've looked everywhere. I see. Well then, please continue with the search. Understood. I'll continue the search. So you're the one running the show. Prosecutors like you shouldn't even be allowed at crime scenes. How dare you? Just who do you think you are? Wow. What's that all about? Whoever he was, I've never seen a more impudent officer in my life. I know you're standing right behind me. What do you want, kids? It looks like you were paying attention after all. Of course, I was. I have eyes in the back of my head. So that mirror isn't for vanity's sake. It's for him to keep an eye out on who or what is behind him at all times. Hindi makicermin ba't ngeliat ke belakang. Wow, the Edgeworth. So tell me, Detective Bad, who was that rude man just now? The guy came here from the Republic of Zhengfa to study. He's Agent Lang. He's trying everything he can to revive the lost honor of his family. For honor. He's traveling the world to study different philosophies of detainment from scratch. By visiting various police departments around the world, he has a lot of dedication. He's still just a rookie cop, but I sense a strong grudge of some sort from him. The guy's more useful than even if he's rude. Well, he sure has a lot of guts to come to this country and give prosecutors a hard time. I agree, however, I can think of one young lady the statement also applies to. Anyway, what was that agent looking for, Detective Bad? Earlier, that little girl was poking around in lobby number 1 as well. Like I said before, it's got nothing to do with the two of you. I highly doubt that. Fine, this is a game I must play. I'll take opportunity to draw what he's been hiding and what happened in this room straight from him. Earlier, you were in lobby number 1, and now you're here in lobby number 2. You are quite the busy man, Detective Bad. Multiple returns to a crime scene brings about success. That's what we detectives say. Hello, Ahmad Rafi. Welcome to the stream. Selamat malam. I see. In that case, you wouldn't mind if I asked about what happened again, correct? I don't have anything left to say to you, boy. Boy? Would it kill you to help us even a tiny bit in our investigation? I gave Faraday's notebook to the judge earlier. That's help enough, don't you think? Ah. Please, we're asking you just a bit more of your cooperation. Don't push me, kid. Okay, about what happened around here at the time of the crime. I refuse to answer. But I refuse. Waste of time. Besides, how am I supposed to answer questions about things I don't know about? Things you don't know about, but aren't you supposed to know everything? You should. Apakah? Huh. Does he not know this? Detective Bad, did you know the existence of the item in this photograph? Of course I did. It's my job to know everything related to the Yadagrasu case. In that case, let me ask you something. Did you know that the knife that killed Mr. Faraday and this Yadagrasu's key are one and the same? What? That's impossible. Well, it looks like he didn't know. This piece of evidence, which we call the Yadagrasu's key, is actually a well-camouflaged knife. Pisahnya adalah kunci. Mr. Faraday was planning to use Yadagrasu's key to prove that Mr. Rel was not the real Yadagrasu. Isn't that correct? I guess so. However, Mr. Faraday had no idea that it was in fact a knife. Yeah, I have to admit, neither one of us knew that fact. And if neither of us knew, then no one in law enforcement knew either. How did we miss something as big as this? You're gonna be searching for something. Yeah, that's right. And why were you searching for it? Because I promised Faraday. I promised that I'd protect that key with my life. But after he was killed, the key disappeared from Faraday's evidence bag. Who would have thought that the key is what took Faraday's life? Please testify for me once more. Doesn't matter, nothing's changed. I ask that you please testify once more about what happened in lobby number 2 and what you experienced in lobby number 1. My answer is still the same, and this is the last time I'm gonna do this. That's fine. Okay. Detective Bad's movements. I was in lobby number 1, talking with you. With me? No, with you. We were talking about some trivial things. I heard the gunshot right before the trial was about to reconvene. When we heard it, you and I immediately dashed out into the hallway together. I saw Gumshoe goofing around there, and then we all went into lobby number 2. There's something hidden here.
Hold it!
Okay. I didn't hear any other strange sounds until that gunshot. If the gunshot he heard was really the one for the murder, that would give the other piece of evidence an entirely different meaning. Are you sure you didn't hear anything else? Like a balloon popping?
Objection!
Detective Bad, does this balloon fragment remind you of anything? It's the same color as the one Kay was holding. Oh, so you knew about that girl's balloon. Yeah, I was sitting with her up in the gallery. I filled that balloon up for her. Well, it did come from Kay's balloon. So? Would you remember hearing this balloon pop at some point? What are you getting at? This fragment was found in the hallway right in front of lobby number 2. Furthermore, it was the sound of this balloon popping that the judge mistook as a gunshot. Oh. So the sound the judge heard was not actually a gunshot, huh? On top of that, His Honor said that he heard the balloon pop about 20 minutes before the trial was to reconvene. Which means His Honor heard that balloon pop in the hallway when you were in lobby number 1, Detective Bad. And if you were in lobby number 1 at that time, you were close enough that you should have heard the balloon popping as well. So... Don't give me a so. We just proved that there was a flaw in your testimony. The crackling of the truth is louder than the sound of your sweet naivete cracking. And since you kids don't seem to know, let me fill you in on something. Did you ever stop to think why the doors and walls of this place seem so rugged? That's because they were designed to keep secrets from being leaked. What's that supposed to mean? The doors and walls are super thick. The window panes are double layered. To top it all off, even the curtains are made of special sound-absorbing material. So you're saying it's soundproof? That means this Scrubface's voice is completely useless! If the rooms are soundproof, then of course you wouldn't hear any sign of a struggle. That's also why it's only natural that I didn't hear the balloon popping. Now do you get it, kids? Okay, but if he did not hear the balloon, why did he hear the gunshot in the next room? The other way around? It's not possible to hear the sound of a balloon popping if one were in lobby number 1. However, if we examine the situation in reverse, a person standing in a hallway should not be able to hear the real gunshot either. If that's the case, how exactly did you hear the gunshot? What do you mean? How? I just did. You have yet to realize the contradiction in your own words. Oh, how so? If the rooms are as soundproof as you say they are, then how did the sound of the gunshot enter your ears? See what you mean. I guess I'm more out of it from Faraday's more than I had thought. Which means what exactly, Miles? There must be a reason as to how Detective Bad and Gumshoe heard a gunshot. They theoretically could not have. Perfume. Way too noisy. Scent of flowers in the air and spilled perfume. It's simply not possible for the killer to have escaped through barred windows, and yet the fragrance of the perfume managed to escape from defendant lobby number 1. Like sounds. Now then, what else besides a smell can go in? Sound. No matter how careful the killer was, if the windows were open, the jig would be up. And since they're both open, that explains how the sound of a gunshot could be heard in both locations. And then we have the tape, which has a gunshot sound. The missing piece of evidence is a video that shows the moment in which Mr. Rell killed the embassy staff member. Boom. If it disappeared after that time, it's possible the tape is still here in this room. Miles, what have you been thinking about? Stop wasting time thinking, and let's start looking again. It's not a waste of time to think, for I have figured out where we should look. We should examine the television. player, and there seems to be a videotape inside. Could it not be the missing surveillance tape? Would it be alright if I verified the contents of this video? Sure. Knock yourself out. If I remember correctly, the footage of Rel killing the embassy member should be at about the 30-minute mark from the start of the tape. Understood. It should be about right. Now then, let's see. This is the footage of Mr. Rel shooting the embassy staff member. I knew it. The missing piece of evidence, the surveillance video, was here all along. This sound. What's the meaning of this? Yep, I think we can figure out the trick behind this double murder. Do you mean that you figured it all out then? Yes, all I have to do now is show what the gunshot detectives Bad and Gumshoe heard was. And through where they heard it from. So the video was in the TV. Oh. Salah. Ow. It's this. Damn it. Bukan juga. So, what the gunshot they heard and through where? The window. Eureka! If the door and windows were to the crime scene, namely this room we're in, were closed, the killer could have used the gun, and no one would have been the wiser. That's true, this courthouse does seem to be well designed for such a thing, as it were. Hello, Malam Laras, welcome to the stream. Selamat datang. However, what happened in reality was Detective Gumshoe, Detective Bad, and Ms. Yu, all three of them, heard the gunshot. Semuanya dengar suara pistol. But how? Ya karena jendelanya kebuka. Jadi pasti kedengeran dong. Ah, tapi kalau begitu, kenapa jendela dibuka? To allow the gunshot to be heard? Yes. But why was that necessary in the first place? I want a real answer, Miles. Okay. When the crime took place. So that's why the tape was left running. You mean, the gunshot I heard was from this video? Yes, which means that the murders really occurred at an earlier time. It must have been during the recess, but before Detective Gumshoe was on guard duty. Someone who has no alibi for the time period and planned this crime out in advance. That person's a real killer. Woo! Heal. Mr. Edgeworth, yes, what is it? Miss Yu is asking for you. She's in the courtroom. She's identified the murderer, but she wants to clarify something. Okay. Understood. I'll come along. I want to hear what she has to say. The time has come to uncover the truth. Okay. We're getting to the end of this case. Confrontation former. Okay, what are you doing here? Hello, mister. I'm still investigating. But the object you're looking for has already... Okay, don't mind him. Please continue with your investigation. Okay, you got it. Detective Bat, haven't we already found what you were looking for? That means I can keep her in the darkness a little longer. Any little task will do. Oh, you're more sympathetic than I thought. I've been waiting for you, Edgeworth. I've also been waiting for the moment in which we can finally lay this case to rest. The moment in which we can finally lay this case to rest? Wasn't that when we placed Detective Gumshoe under arrest? I think we've more than solved this case already, don't you? Just see, it all depends on whether or not your logic holds. Oh, I see we have a viewer in the gallery, and why? Even Mr. Bad is here. A viewer in the gallery? I'm hardly just a bystander. I have a duty to see this case through to the end, no matter how it turns out. Oh? Is that right? Anyway, I thought you might like to hear what I've slaved away to find out. I've taken statements on every single person's movements during the time when our suspect was in the hallway. I've also confirmed that there is no possible route of escape from lobby number 2. Therefore, the killer must be without a doubt be Detective Gumshoe. And that's all you have? Yeah, that's also my conclusion in this case. Sorry, but I beg to differ. In a trial, there is always time for a rebuttal, and we are standing in a court of law. It'd be more than appropriate to follow the rules of court in this case, don't you think? How absolutely like a rookie to think such a thing! But alright, I'll play along and give you a proper testimony. If my logic is correct, then I've already won. I just have to prove it. Everyone sans the suspect has an alibi for when the gun went off. Furthermore, the areas around the crime scene have been all thoroughly investigated, right? I also confirm that there is no possible escape route from lobby number 2, which leads to an unshakable conclusion that Detective Gumshoe is the killer. Now that you have your testimony, I expect a good rebuttal, Edgeworth. But of course. Kita harus press.
Hold it!
The suspect, but I thought that Detective Gumshoe alibi has already been proven. Are you joking, Edgeworth? I assure you this is no joke. I know you heard from the judge earlier that the detective was in the hallway with Mr. Faraday's daughter eating a Swiss roll. Yeah, that's correct. But that's 20 minutes before the real gunshot went off, right? Well, yes. The areas around the crime scene had all been thoroughly investigated, right?
Hold it!
Are you sure about that? The scrunched eyebrows and lines on your forehead are back. Anyway, even if you believe it hasn't been exhaustive, the crime scene lobby number 2 has no way out other than the hallway Detective Gumshoe was standing in. And because he claimed to be there, that makes him the only possible suspect. Wait, is not the window possible? That's the first place everyone looked silly. Isn't that right, Mr. Bad? Yeah. There wasn't a scrap of evidence to suggest someone used one of the windows. There also weren't any footprints or anything in the courtyard garden. suppose they really did check everything that could be relevant to the case.
Hold it!
Are you absolutely positive? Of course I'm sure. And why are you so certain? Because this is a courthouse? Yakin ka? If there was an escape route, I'm sure every criminal would be using it to escape.
Hold it!
You may think it's unshakable, but to me, there's still too many unanswered questions. Who was it that placed the gun in Mr. Faraday's hand? But you're the only one still wondering that! Detective Gumshoe probably had no idea which hand Mr. Faraday used to write with. I mean, I don't care about that thing. Okay. I should inquire a little something about her argument. You said that you confirmed the alibis of every person other than the suspect. However, I don't recall either Francisca or myself speaking with you about the subject. Ah, but there is witnesses. For you, there is your mentor who gave you an alibi. I see. As for little Missy, she came to the courthouse during the recess and was stalked by a security guard at the door at the hallway. I'm the daughter of Manfred von Kama, and I will not be forcibly stopped by a god or a bailiff or anyone else. So basically, the only reason Francisca bothered to show up was because she found out that I was to be the prosecutor? And by the way, Miss Yu, what about everyone's alibis before Detective Gumshoe was assigned? What about them? Have you looked into what people were doing during that span of time? What kind of idiot do you take me for? It doesn't matter when the killer went into lobby number 2. From the time we heard the gunshot to the time Mr. Bad and I arrived on the scene as we dashed from lobby number 1, the only person who could have committed the crime was Detective Gumshoe. Okay, let's talk about that. Suppose if we go by your logic, then Detective Gumshoe is the only one. However, what if the crime had occurred at an entirely different time? What then? The gunshot was a trap. But the explanation is very lacking, Edgeworth. Yeah.
Take that!
Video. That tape. It is exactly what you think it is. It's the real tape. It was loaded in the video player in lobby number 2. I was connected to the large television that had its volume turned all the way up. You can't honestly mean that the sound we heard was the gunshot in the video. Ah, but I do. The murders occurred much earlier than when anyone heard the gunshot. She's doing her makeup. That's the only thing I can think of, too. After committing double homicide, the killer took the surveillance video out from Mr. Faraday's evidence bag, turned the television's volume all the way up, and left the video to play. It would take 30 minutes for the gunshot to unlock. And now we know that this method of time manipulation is possible. It opens up the possibility the killer is someone other than Detective Gumshoe. Sounds from a television doesn't amount to much here. But of course, Mr. Prosecutor Edgeworth and Little Miss Von Kama already knew that much from the very beginning, right? Yes, of course, we know about the soundproof quality of this courthouse. Just earlier. That's right. If the rooms are soundproof, then no one should be able to hear it. But it's not. The window is open. There's actually one common point between lobby number 1 and lobby number 2, and it is that despite the fact that both rooms have air conditioners installed, a window was open in each. Now we know that the window in lobby number 2 was opened by the killer. However, a window in lobby number 1 was also open.
Objection!
It's probably just coincidence that they were both open at the time.
Objection!
It's not. Yeah. The real killer is you! Yeah, that's right. Callisto Yu.
Take that!
Miss Callisto Yu, I hereby formally indict you of the murder of Mr. Faraday and Mr. Ralph. Bang. Bang. What? You indict me? Are you serious, Miles? Why do you think she's the killer? I don't understand her motive just yet, but I'm serious. Because she's the only one who could have done it. Well, Miss Yu, do you still feel like laughing now? Ha, of course I do, Edgeworth. Although, I never thought things would spiral into this. But I'll have you know I'm enjoying this dance quite a bit. Alright. Miss Yu's rebuttal. You argue that the window was open, however, do you have proof it was I who did that? Furthermore, do you have proof that tape was used in committing the crime? Frankly, I'm shocked at you for going around accusing people of murder like this. Oh, really? This is where it really starts. It's perfect proof time. You argue the window was open, however, do you have proof it was I who did that? Yes, we do. This bottle of perfume. Parfum ini di defendant lobby nomor 1 ditumpahkan oleh pemiliknya. Was that a coincidence or on purpose? Surely, it was on purpose.
Objection!
I'm sure you've seen this before, haven't you, Miss Yu? Edward, I never knew you were into wearing that kind of perfume. It's not exactly what I'd recommend for boys, you know? This isn't mine. That's right, it's mine. And I received it from Detective Bad. Miss Yu, you can pretend all you like, but we know at least this much is for sure. You are the one who gave this bottle of perfume to Detective Bad. And that you're super easy to rile up. So, what about the perfume? While you were in lobby number 1, you made a big show spilling some of this perfume. Ditumpahin, yes. Oh, I know. You also knew that if you spilled it, he would naturally move to open a window.
Objection!
Come now, I've already told you that's all just a big coincidence. After we opened it, I just left it open, you know? So maybe it was just dumb luck that we heard the gunshot through the window.
Objection!
The timing of when you were going to spill the perfume is something you could control. And the most important fact about this case is when people were made to hear the shot. Furthermore, it would have been pointless if you didn't have an alibi for yourself at the time. You mean... Ms. Yu, you were the one who called Detective Bad into lobby number 1. When you saw him bring the type of gumshoe into the hallway. Is that correct? All of today's premeditated events could only have been thought up by you, Miss Yu. You accused me on the murder of the fact that I spilled a little perfume. Well, allow me to say this much. I couldn't have killed Mr. Faraday. Would you care to testify as to why? Look, I've had a lot of fun today, really. But I grow weary of this game of cat and mouse. Let's make this the last testimony and wrap up this absurd case once and for all. Why it couldn't be me. Accusing someone of murder over a spilled bottle of perfume is a bit over the top. But I suppose forgery of evidence is to be expected of a disciple of Von Karma. In any case, it simply could not have been me who killed Faraday. After all, I don't even know where the knife that was used to kill him came from. Are you sure about that? Wow, this one's flawless. Yeah, but no matter what, she won't escape me. Okay. This statement. Hold.
Hold it!
If she really was the one who killed Faraday, she must have known about the existence of the knife. I'm sorry, Miss Yu, maybe you weren't aware. However, the knife that was used to kill Mr. Faraday was taken from his evidence bag. Huh? But I don't recall a knife being presented at the trial earlier today. I suppose that's because the evidence was something Mr. Faraday had yet to use. Ah, so that's what you're trying to do. Look, why don't you cut it out with the lies? I've already figured you out. There was no knife inside Mr. Faraday's evidence bag. Yeah, the only evidence he had yet to present was the key the other guards had sent. And unless the key can magically turn into a knife, you don't really have a leg to stand on. I never intended to do such a thing. In any case, could you append that? Sure, why not? There was a key in his evidence bag, but you can't kill anyone with a simple key. Yes, but this key is also a knife.
Objection!
Miss Yu, I wonder if you might take a look at this photo for me. It's the key. Well, it may look like a key at first glance. It, in fact, has the secret ability to transform into a knife. Which means that whatever was inside my other's bag was both the Yatagara's key and the murderous knife. You knew the key was inside Mr. Faraday's bag, did you not? Yes. Well, it's more than possible to kill Mr. Faraday.
Objection!
I still haven't had a good look at it. Showing it to me from that far away, you could be lying for all I know. You would even now still feign ignorance? I'm not feigning anything! But we can't have you accusing me of a crime with false evidence, though, can we? I mean, Mr. Von Karma. I've heard some very interesting rumors about him. Are you mocking my papa? Don't you dare sully the good name of my mentor. Now take a good look. Wow. Who knew there was such a trick to this thing? You knew that the knife and the Yatagara's key are one and the same. Otherwise, someone like you, who isn't a member of law enforcement, and who would never have been privy to this trick, would have never known about it to begin with. Furthermore, the something that the Yatagara sent to the police, how did you have knowledge as to what it was? I heard it from Mr. Faraday. He also told me about the key. That's very convenient. But he didn't tell me about how the key actually transforms.
Objection!
That's not possible. Because Mr. Faraday himself didn't know about the hidden knife within the key. He mentions nothing about a knife.
Objection!
I'm not sure he would have written everything in his organizer, you know. Wouldn't something of his importance be left with the oral communication?
Objection!
No. That's also impossible. Because Detective Bad didn't know about it either! What would have been highly classified information even within the police force and it's something that even the lead detective didn't know. Why would Mr. Faraday have felt the need to share such information with the opposition? Yeah, I guess you wouldn't have much of a reason to. Looks like I give a pretty lame excuse, huh? How can you laugh at a time like this? She probably just realized the flaw in her logic and is actually in a panic over it. But that's not something we need to concern ourselves with. Okay. I suppose so. Miss Yu, I'd like you to state that I also know how you know the real nature of the knife. Do you know? Well, why don't you put your money where your mouth is and show me? Oh, I will. And I will wipe that smile off. Here it is. The secret behind Yatagrasa's key. Who would know? The Yatagarasu.
Take that!
Only one person who would know. And that is the person who sent the key. That is to say, the Yatagarasu herself. Are you saying that this lawyer is the great thief Yatagarasu? Miss Yu, you used Mr. Rel to lure Mr. Faraday into a trap, didn't you? You who profess to bear a grudge against criminals. Why do something like this? Hee 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 hee. Ha 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 ha. Wow. Ha 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 ha. Who would have thought that you, a stupid rookie prosecutor, would see through me? You're sending the biggest chill down my spine right now, Edgeworth. This feeling of thrill. It's even greater than when I sneak into someplace. You killed Faraday? Why? Answer me, Callisto Yu. Callisto Yu, huh? That's not my real name. Because my real identity is yes, the great thief Yatagarasu. Let me tell you something, Edgeworth. Mr. Faraday was one difficult man to deal with. For you see, he had discovered my work. But once we entered the recess, Rel was dragged off by Mr. Faraday, which threw my plan into a complete mess. I chased after them and eavesdropped on them through a crack in the door. That Rel caves to only two things, money and authority. Just like all thugs do. I feared my plan was gonna be ruined if Mr. Faraday held on to Rel any longer. Plus, if I had let them continue on the way they were, I would have been found out. So I had no choice. I had to kill them both. But didn't you say that you despise criminals? But I do. But do I really? Cute. Have you forgotten about the KG8 incident too? Maybe. What sort of woman would... So then, was it your plan to kill Mr. Faraday with the very evidence that you sent? Well, I had a good idea of what Mr. Faraday was gonna do. I anticipated that Mr. Faraday was gonna prove that Rel wasn't the Yatagarasu by using this Yatagarasu's key as evidence, and that he would bring it with him. Which is why I thought to use the knife portion. With a weapon as well disguised as, no one would be the wiser. Because who in their right mind would think something like this could be a weapon? I casually entered the lobby on pretext I had to talk with Mr. Faraday. In order to get with him, I pretended to be worried about something. He had told me let me out aggressive key just like that. He never noticed I had changed the key into a knife inside the plastic bag. And he didn't have the chance to take note of the knife that took his life. How could you kill him? I knew him for a long time, you know. At the very least, I thought to give him a quick and painless death. But if you killed Mr. Faraday first, there was no need for you to kill Mr. Rel as well. I believe I mentioned why when we were placing the third Gumshoe under arrest. Something about having accidentally created an eyewitness? how that led the killer to think about setting them up as though they'd kill each other. Yes, I hadn't actually planned to use a gun. The risk was too high that I'd be caught. That's why I remembered the existence of that surveillance tape. Which is why I had Rel help me set up the crime scene, and after all was said and done, I rewarded him for all his hard work with a bullet. You're a defense attorney, aren't you? How could you? How could you betray a client? Ooh. If you want to talk about who was a client, it was me. I was a client in the murder of the pedophile MC staff member, dead man. You ordered a hit job? You still haven't figured it out, Mr. Bad. I had dead man killed because he was about to give away info about the smuggling ring. Now, who exactly do you think would benefit from such an assassination? You're... That's right. I'm a member of the smuggling ring. How could this... You don't mean you're working with Manny Cochin too, do you? Maybe. Maybe not. Guess we never know. The other guards claims to be noble, but you're just another cold-blooded murderer. Yikes. That's right, little girl. The Adagarasu is just another killer. Be quiet. You... Yadagarasu. You can run from the law, but you'll never escape it. So just humbly accept the judgment of this court. Hey, Edgeworth. Did you know? The Adagarasu has 3 legs. Do you know why that is? No? Well, let me tell you. It means that the Adagarasu has more than one razor-sharp way to do her work. Oh, she has a gun. You really are too naive, Edgeworth. You even handed the Adagarasu's key right to me without a second thought. Everything may not have gone according to plan, but I'll still gladly take it. You mean, the key was your real target? And even after I give you such great advice, didn't I tell you to always keep a good eye on a criminal? Or you may regret what comes of your negligence. You two, get down! I can't move. Mister, to your right! You! Are you alright, Francisca? I'm perfectly fine, Miles. Her voice is shaking, but it looks like she's unharmed. Where did Kay go? It's a gunshot. Mengerikan. Tembak-tembakan di dalam courtroom. Sorry. It looks like she got away. I called the precinct. They should have a perimeter set up soon. Detective Bat, are you alright? I heard a gunshot. I'm okay. Just got another hole in my jacket. He may say he's fine, but he looks quite shaken. Oh. But more importantly, boy. I mean, Mr. Edgeworth, Mr. Von Kama. Are you too hurt? I'm absolutely fine. I'm also alright, thanks to Kay. Speaking of Kay, where is she? I don't know. She just sort of disappeared. I'll go look for her. Oh, hey. And hey, Detective Gumshoe? Yes, sir. Detective Bad, sir. I'm sorry I doubted you. Don't worry, sir. It's not your fault, sir. Well, I lied to you guys too, after all. I heard about what happened from Kay. Lying while giving testimony is still unforgivable. But in this case, you're protecting Kay and her feelings. Looks like you just might have what it takes to be a real detective. Now don't you ever lose that detective spirit, okay? You got it, Pops. Pops. Watched one too many detective dramas recently, have we? Way to single-handedly destroy the cheery atmosphere with one snarky comment. I should get back to the investigation. I swear I'll catch you if it's the last thing I do. Be careful, Detective Bad, and take care. Thanks. Well, I'm off. Maybe we'll run into each other again someday. Thanks a bunch, pal. You're the best. You really did find out the truth behind everything. I guess we did, yeah. I'm glad we solved everything before you were taken to prison. Look, diyan siya masih sedih. I can't believe how much trouble I caused you with my testimony, Detective Gumshoe. Oh, it's no problem, really. I mean, I lied too, so it didn't help anything. It's really not your fault, Your Honor. Well, even if we didn't have His Honor's testimony, I think that lawyer would have found another way to get you convicted on her behalf. Yeah, I can't believe I was about to get fired during my first week as detective. Minggu pertama langsung dipecat. Hampir. Well, as long as you're not fired, you should just work hard, give all that you have, and perform your duties well. Oh, and one more thing. Kay left a present for you with me. She did? Swiss roll!
Take that!
It's a courthouse special Swiss roll! Can I really have it? Yes, it's a present meant for you after all. Thanks a bunch. You have no idea how happy this makes me, pal. I'm gonna eat this right now. Sure, go ahead. The Swiss rolls Detective Gumshoe and Kay bought together. While the one Kay saved never reached her father, it would appear that her sentiments have touched the heart of this detective. He's so happy! It's as though he's having a welcome back celebration of his own. Well, I was asked by Kay to give it to him. Whoop! That was good, pal. I can't believe I got to eat 2 of these delicious things in one day. It's like I'm in Swiss roll paradise or something. Sliwet. I gotta thank Kay myself. Hey, wait, where is she? Detective Bad left to go search for her earlier. Maybe you should go join him. Yeah, you betcha, pal. I'm gonna go help him. Oh, but first. You know what, pal? Actually, I guess I shouldn't be so rude to you anymore, huh? I'm gonna stick right by your side from now on, Mr. Edgeworth, sir! Pertemuan pertama Gumshoe dan Edgeworth. I sense nothing but a most troublesome relationship from that ominous statement. We should go home too, Mouse. We have to hurry and report what has happened to Papa. Agreed. Well, I'm afraid we must be going now, Detective. Roger, sir, and don't you worry. I'll investigate the next case we're on real well. I'll be counting on you. The scent of trouble is definitely in the air. Thus, like a bad dream, my first outing at court came to a disturbing end. A few months later, I was finally able to properly stand in court as a prosecutor. But the detective in charge of the investigation was, as I dreaded, Detective Gumshoe. After that, he became my direct subordinate. I have tried, but words fail to describe the immeasurable suffering he has caused me. But I suppose that's just how things are. As for the little girl who suddenly disappeared, she's now here. Kembali ke masa sekarang. So, Do you remember now? Flashback niya satu case ya. Lamanya. Yes, I remember everything. Okay. It's been a while. Okay, you sure grew up a lot. Of course. Thank goodness, I thought you two had totally forgotten about me. You know, I was really worried about you after all that. Where have you been all this time? Hehe. Gummy, I didn't know you cared. After my father died, I went to go live with my mother's relatives. They lived really far away, so I wasn't really able to come back here all that much. Oh, is that what happened? Well, I'm just glad you're alright. So does it all make sense now? You betcha it does. Oh, you know what? I was going through my father's bookshelves recently and...
Hold it!
Actually, there are still a number of things that don't make sense, Kay. Huh? First of all, why did you come all this way to see me? And second, why are you calling yourself the Yadagrasu? Yeah, why is she the Yadagrasu? The Yadagrasu is Callisto Yu, the woman who killed your father. No, you're wrong. The real Yadagrasu was my father. Mr. Faraday was the Yadagrasu? Like I said, I was going through my father's bookshelf recently, and I found a secret diary hidden among his books. I have no regrets in choosing to walk the path of the Yadagrasu. That was written in his diary. And that's how I know for sure. Nani? Sonna, baka na. That's impossible. What's with that look? You don't believe me? It wasn't just the expression on my face. I clearly said it was impossible just now. Alright then, how do you explain this? It's a way of disarming any security system of the user's choosing. Yep, that's Little Thief. And this little gizmo was used by my father. Wow, Mr. Faraday wasn't just a great prosecutor, he really was a great thief, huh? Yeah, my father worked really hard to steal the truth. But he was killed, and the Yadagrasu was no more. But despite that, the Yadagrasu has been spotted again recently. Someone other than you? Here, Mr. Edgeworth. Take a look at this article. The Yadagrasu sent the embassy a calling card? Yeah. Meaning this person's a fake. I'm almost certain that Callisto Yu is behind this. Because the real Yadagrasu would never send something like a gaudy card out. But the Yadagrasu did send a white card along with anything to be publicized. Yeah. Well, as soon as I heard the news, I got all wound up and I knew I couldn't just let it go. So I searched you out so that I could obtain the truth behind the Yadagrasu. Because if anyone can help me find it, I figure it's you, Mr. Edgeworth. So you're saying I have your father and Miss Yu's identities backwards? Yes, because the real Yadagrasu is noble to the end. And I want to revive the real noble Yadagrasu. If I don't, my father will never be able to rest in peace. Okay. Hey, you're so honorable. I don't care what anyone else thinks, I'll always be here to cheer you on, pal. Even if you are honorable, a thief is a thief. And if you are plotting to commit a crime, then I'm afraid I can't be complicit. Mr. Edgeworth? Oh, you guys are not making it easy for me. Who am I supposed to support now? Mr. Edgeworth, what I want from you is not to steal something. What I want is the arrest of that evil woman. That evil woman? You mean Callisto Yu? I think it's too hard for me to catch her all by myself. But I thought that since you were able to expose her for who she is in me... Please, Mr. Edgeworth, won't you help me? Come to think of it, I do believe I owe you. Oh, owe me for what? When Miss Yu made her escape, it was you who saved my life. Furthermore, you helped me with the investigation today. I am not so rude as to leave favors unrepaid. Then, you mean... Yes. That case has been weighing down my soul ever since that fateful day. Perhaps the time has come to settle things once and for all. If you don't intend to soil your hands in a crime, then I believe I can help you. Mr. Edgeworth, thank you. What 7 years does to a man. Yay, Mr. Edgeworth, sir! Isn't that great, Kay? Yeah, it sure is, Gummy. Even though he had completely forgotten about her until just now. What is with their chummy relationship? The great thief Yadagarasu. After all that time, the true identity of the thief sank back into the darkness. Burn Faraday, Callisto Yu, and Kay Faraday. The phantasmagorically changing identity of the great thief Yadagarasu. And the Yadagarasu's real goal. It would all come to light the day after I made that promise to Kay. That's the end of Case 4. We have one last case to do untuk menamatkan game pertama Ace Attorney Investigation 1. Tapi kemungkinan besar tahun depan aja. My god. So, semua case ini tuh terikat dengan Yatagarasu. Dan this is the closing case of the first game. Oh yeah, we have new gallery stuff. Yay. Foto-foto yang baru. This is so cute. Gumshoe dan Kei makan Swiss roll. Yeah. Also, that marks the end of Ace Attorney Week iseng. Soalnya ya paling akan dilanjutkan tapi nggak akan streaming setiap hari kayak minggu ini sih. Jadi sesempatnya dan paling ya lihat nantilah. Belum ada rencana streaming lanjut sih. Tapi lumayan. Dalam seminggu we got 4 out of 5 cases on the first game. And yeah, I love this game so much. Ace Attorney is so cool. Okay. Untuk Clans tahun ini aku nggak ada streaming lagi, jadi paling bertemu lagi di streaming tahun depan. Kemungkinan besar aku akan ada birthday stream ya, streaming ulang tahun. Nanti aku bikin Google Form kalau ada yang mau misal ngecapin atau ngirim sesuatu. Ulang tahunku tuh di tanggal 10 Januari. Jadi lumayan dekat awal tahun ya. Tapi ya itu paling streaming berikutnya tanggal segitu. Atau mungkin awal tahun ada kalau sempat. Tapi we will see. In any case, terima kasih sudah mengikuti, yang ikutin dari awal atau yang baru dari tengah-tengah juga nggak apa-apa. Terima kasih sudah menonton saya main Ace Attorney Investigation Collection. So far udah case 4 dari case 5. Nanti kita akan lanjut tapi nggak tahu lanjut kapan. Dan we will see in the next year. Wait, tanggal 1. Hikaru, kamu tanggal 1 artinya di awal tahun beneran langsung ulang tahun dong. Keren. Sama kayak kakakku. Oh iya. Oke. What a coincidence. Ya, tapi we will see untuk streaming berikutnya. Kapan? Aku masih tidak ada niatan buat bikin schedule streaming karena sibuk sih biasanya. Ini gara-gara lagi liburan aja juga. Tiba-tiba liburan terus lagi diskon dan akhirnya pengen main ulang. Ya, kita main ulang lagi saja gitu kan. Tapi We'll see. Semoga tahun depan lebih banyak stream. Aku tuh nggak pernah streaming, tapi ya udah. Karena kemarin agak sedikit ke pressure buat streaming, ya udah streaming gitu kan. Terus sekali-sekali nyoba streaming game, oke lah ya. Ya semoga tahun depan lebih banyak stream aja gitu. Jadi sampai jumpa di tahun depan. Semoga sisa tahun ini bebas sih. Saya tidak ada rencana tahun ini. Sudah. Semoga tahun depan lebih baik lah gitu aja. And maybe see you on my birthday stream. Kalau ada. Main Street Fighter dong bang. Ayo bang, kita main Street Fighter bang. Tapi aku cupu bang, gimana bang? Oke, streamnya sampai di sini dulu. Yap, sampai jumpa. Thank you yang udah nonton. Ciao, Hikaru, Adit, Di, semuanya. Tadi terima kasih juga Tima yang donate. Guys, donate guys, biar aku cover Zecho Sangka versi Indo full tahun depan. Amin dulu. But ya, Otsu, thank you. Sampai jumpa di tahun depan. Thank you for watching. Otsu.